It goes everybody, because today we'll be playing a game called Her Lie I Try to Believe extended version. I really like the original version. I played it before, but now this is the extended version. The first I played is the non-extended version, so I'm hoping these. Oh, look, there's endings. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 5. Awesome. So let's play. Wonder why I didn't notice it at the time. The meaning behind it, all of it. Now that I do understand it, I can say with certainty that my life would have been completely different if I had seen through it sooner. What I really like about this, was I too insensitive? Maybe I simply didn't want to understand. The writing here feels like you're in prison. No matter. Maybe you will see the truth where I couldn't. Yeah. However, the writing here feels like a prisoner talking to confessing his sins. It's pretty awesome. It's really engaging. It all started in elementary school. Not middle school or high school, but elementary school, just to give an idea of how long she's been tormenting me. Yeah, it's a girl. It's always about a girl, isn't it? Couldn't have been a rivalry between boys, but no, it had to be a girl. Fuck. I can't exactly give a specific time for when this happened. I guess it just kinda turned out that way. The moment I laid my eyes on her, I knew I would hate her. Say March Sully. She was tall, well, not tall, but still taller than me back then. You know how it goes. Her hair was not very long. Boyish would be probably a good way to describe it. But then again, it was pretty common during elementary school years. Her strength must have been similar to mine even. Her features resembled those of most of the girls. She wasn't special, that's for sure. She had brown eyes and black hair, a cute girl, and it stopped at that. Just that. Still, there was one thing, one indescribable small thing that separated her from the rest of those pure girls. Her eyes. There was something about them. I'm not talking about twinkles or anything of the sort. I'm talking about something darker, something that doesn't belong to a kid, but she hid it. Or at least she tried to, and it worked with most people, but not with me. I wonder if she saw the same thing in my eyes. Maybe that's why I felt so much contempt for her. Maybe that's why she answered that contempt with some unknown feelings of her own. Fuck motorcycle. So loud, man. I don't know how it happened. Did she provoke me first, or was I pushing this perception of us as the sole foundation of our relationship? The fact that we were rivals. Hey, new image. New CGI, I guess. New images, not portraits, new images. I think it all started because she beat me at running. She beat me at pretty much everything, really. But I think running was something much more perceivable. And that's why it weighed so heavily on my mind. Being beaten by a girl? And it wasn't as if she had a talent for running or anything. I was simply that mediocre of a runner, and that was that. To be honest, I probably would have been fine with it if it hadn't been for that annoying smile. That smile always teasing me so brightly, and it wasn't that attractive either. I mean, more often than not, she was missing some baby teeth due to growth, so... But once again, I don't completely remember why she started doing it, but every time she won a race against me in PE, she would look at me with that smile and say, "Better luck next time, Tim." For me at the time, there were no greatest insults. For a boy who is trying to differentiate himself from the others in an environment such as elementary school, being beaten and laughed at by a girl, there's no way I couldn't not take it personally. So I kind of made it my life's mission to beat her every opportunity I could get. But sadly for me, I was just an average boy, and although she was also just an average girl, she was still slightly better than I was. In fact, I think it was simply a game for her, something to put a smile on her face or to feel proud about. Seeing me failing and looking so irritated by that, she might have thought I was also having fun somehow. All this because we got pissed. It was only when winter came that she understood the full depth of my feelings. It's snowing. We were playing King of the Hill on a snowy hillock with a couple of other kids. I say we, but we weren't really friends or even acquainted for that matter. We knew each other's names and that was pretty much it. Maybe what came next made even more of an impact because of that, because no one was really playing aggressively. We were just kind of pushing each other off the top of the mountain to claim it our own. But when I saw her, that girl, with that smile, climb the mountain, trying to take even this fleeting achievement from me, I kinda snapped. I remember thinking, this is mine, she won't take it away from me. And she didn't. She didn't because I grabbed her with every ounce of strength I could muster and threw her to the bottom of the hill, directly onto the hard ground. It must have hurt. It must have hurt really bad, but this simply didn't register for me. I was completely euphoric over the idea that I had protected what was mine, that I had finally beaten her at something. I guess our strengths were really no match after all. For some reason, the other kids were tending to her with worries in their eyes. Finally, I understood that I had done something wrong. Their reproachful glares told me so, yet I didn't feel bad about it. I didn't feel as if I was in the wrong here. I mean, this girl had been tormenting me, humiliating me for so long, so why should I be the one apologizing? Like hell I would. How could outsiders possibly understand how I felt anyway? Finally, the girl, Cassandra, got to her feet painfully. She didn't cry. She didn't try to elicit any compassion from those around her. No, she just looked at me. Looked at me with those eyes. That's when I knew she finally understood my feelings. That's when I knew she finally started hating me. She became serious. The rivalry I had thought we had was nothing more than normality to her. So, by seriously trying to beat me at everything, she became one of, if not the best student in our class. How ironic to think that she had never really taken me seriously before. To think that my desperation to beat her at something had, in reality, only helped her in bringing forth her true potential. Sure, I eventually became better too, because she finally reciprocated my hatred. But still, in the end, she always had the last word. Her smile changed too. The once faint but noticeable warmth no longer emanated from it. It was cold, like the thing I thought I had once seen in her eyes. She finally looked at me the way I had always looked at her. I guess I had opened her eyes, and she saw me for I truly was. I didn't feel bad about it, at least I thought I didn't. If I had any feelings back then, they probably numbed by this overbearing thing we call ego. She also stopped saying her usual line when she beat me. She did continue to say something alright, but it was no longer that annoying line. Instead, it was something like, "Are you even trying?" As she said it as often as she could. Not only did she said it when we competed against each other at running, but also when we received our report cards, and even during games of chance. My elementary school life ended with an extremely bitter aftertaste. I had become the laughing stock of my class, and somehow I had helped Cassandra become even better than she already was. A complete defeat indeed, but there would be other chances for me to prove my worth. I knew there would. A chance to crush her, that is. Man, relax. Hey, images. Middle school brought some changes with it. Well, not right away, but in the second part of the first year for sure. I became taller, maybe she became shorter, I don't know. Since she was the only person I ever looked at, she more or less became my sole reference when it came to any kind of physical change. Could hardly believe it, yet it was something anyone could have predicted, me becoming taller than her. For some unknown reason, we still ended up in the same class. By chance, we chose the same program. Disgustingly enough, our hatred toward each other was still very much real, so it was like we simply picked things up from where we had left them. Her hair was longer now. Little by little, her body started to take shape in ways which made it very difficult to view her as the kid she had been. Only a few years ago, even I could see how beautiful she was becoming, yet somehow I was still repulsed by her. Similarly, I changed drastically too. I became taller and I gained some mass along the way. Once again, I was still very much an average guy, but I tried my best to keep my body in shape in order to eventually win against her. And it paid off. Then again, it could have simply been a result of my obvious changes. But in any case, I finally started to gain the upper hand, at least during PE and other physical competitions. I was no longer chasing her. Now she was the one chasing me. Can you show at least a bit of determination? That was my line. What a joke, really. I couldn't even think of anything clever to say, so I just stole her line and made it my own. I didn't stop at that. I wanted my back to be as far away in front of her as it could possibly be. Spite. I always say love is the strongest force in earth or something. Yeah, maybe it's spite or pettiness. So I started playing basketball to build up stamina and to keep my body in good shape. In no time at all, I became somewhat popular, though I didn't really think that I was any good. It was just that my entire team was bad, that's all. Anyway, popularity didn't interest me. My eyes were still very much locked on her at all times. Sure, I played the card of being the cool kid, faking to enjoy everyone's eyes on me, but that was just another way to get back at her. Cassandra. Even her name makes me shudder. She had been popular in elementary school, but now she had become kind of gloomy and reclusive. Look at how happy I've become and envy me. That was how I tried to act in front of her. That was how I wanted to make her feel whenever she saw me. But no matter how much space this irritating smile took upon my face, no matter my accomplishments, she never once looked at me. That's when I realized that she had lost all interest in our rivalry. It was only natural. I mean, she no longer had any chance against me when it came to physical performance. So I decided to shift gears. If I wanted to take everything away from her, I would need to build up not only my body, but also my mind. To think that bitch is ignoring me like that, I'll make her understand just how much she's made me suffer. Still holding on to that. Oh, because of that King of the Hill from elementary school, really? Excuse me. It took me a long time to improve my grades, a long time indeed. It was all but natural to me, but in the end I had no other choice but to drop out of the basketball team to focus on my studies. As middle school ended, it still felt like she was one step ahead of me, and if it wasn't actually the case, she sure acted like it was. She had stopped teasing me, stopped looking proud of her achievements, stopped looking at me altogether. It was as if snubbing me was her new way of getting back at me for everything. That glimpse of darkness I had once seen in her eyes was now the only thing perceivable on her features. Okay. High school finally came, but luck was not on my side this time around. We no longer had any classes in common, unfortunately enough. Luck, unfortunately, I wonder why I looked at it this way. Probably because tormenting her gave me so much satisfaction. It didn't matter though, I could still compete with her in the midterm exams and the like. All I needed to do was to keep on studying until I inevitably beat her at her own game, or at least that's how my logic went. My popularity had already deteriorated almost to the point where it could be called non-existent, but there were still girls that confessed their love to me from time to time. I always turned them down though. If I had time to mess around with girls, I probably had time to study even harder. In any case, that's how I try to keep myself focused. So, you understand I felt pretty stupid when I first saw her with a boy. Until then, she hadn't seemed to show any interest in the opposite sex. I wondered why it changed, now of all times. Sure, she was quite good looking. She had become a lot more feminine than she used to be. No wonder she was popular with the boys, but because I'd been watching her for so long, I just couldn't wrap my head around it. I mean, why now of all times? I was mad. I was disappointed. I felt humiliated. So does that mean she doesn't need to study as much as I do to beat me? Is that what she's trying to convey here? This made me put even more effort into my studies. It's not going to go your way this time around, that's for sure. I was convinced I could crush her during midterms, so you can imagine my surprise when I actually did. My grades of the top 50 students were displayed on a sheet of paper in the main hall of the school. Usually she was positioned in the top 5 and I was in the top 10, but this time it was the other way around. How could this be? I was angry. I should have been overjoyed, but I wasn't. How could I be? It wasn't supposed to be this way. The margin between the two of us was too large. It was simply impossible. I remember how, right then and there, I looked around me, really pissed off. That's when our eyes met. For the first time in at least a year and a half, our eyes found each other so naturally, and whereas mine were extremely cold, hers were as passionate as ever, as if she had not changed at all in those years. She even smiled at me, disgustingly so. I walked up to her, unable to keep my cool. "What's wrong with you?" I blurted out as if there was intimacy in our relationship, when in reality, it was the first time I had spoken to her since middle school. Damn, bro. "Oh, excuse me?" she said to me, trying to look as if she didn't know the reason for my forceful approach. what a great actress she is, as if my sudden outburst is somehow unwarranted. Is this because of your new boyfriend? Yeah? Is this jealousy I hear? She's doing it on purpose. Don't fuck with me. Oh shit. I take a hold of her collar aggressively and look at her directly in the eye. Whispers starts reaching my ears from those around us about how I'm going to hit her, about how scary I look, and about how someone should stand up to me or something. Yet she doesn't look scared at all. She reciprocates my stare and simply waits for my words. What is it with those grades, eh? Are you not taking it seriously anymore now that you have got a boyfriend? Is that it? My grades? So all of this is just because of my grades? Her eyes become stern. The inoffensive smile she once had on her face disappears viciously. Tell me, why is it? Why is it changing all of a sudden? This shouldn't happen. I won't let it happen. Why, you ask? I don't know. I just lost interest, that's all. Don't give me that shit. I know you. You know what? That's well deserved. She pushes me upon hearing my words. I lose the hold I have on her as a result. You know nothing, Tim. Whatever. You better get your act together next time or else Or else what? Guy pumps out of nowhere and suddenly puts his hand on my shoulder in a warning kind of way. Is this guy troubling you guys? I shake his hand off of me and walk away without as much as looking back. Next time I'll show you who's the best between us. You better prepare yourself. I think she said something back to me, but I didn't hear or care about it. I was so extremely infuriated by her detached attitude to see or hear anything going on around me. People were probably looking at me with disdain in their eyes, but it didn't matter to me. Yeah, good for you, bro. As if everything I've been doing all this time had no value, as if I was the only one who saw us as rivals. But do you have to hate your rival, though? But things should be good now. By confronting her the way I did, I've given her the little push she needs. Her pride will come out on top in the end. I'm sure of it. I don't want to lose this. I don't want to lose to her. I'll show her. Just you wait, Cassandra. How stupid I was, not understanding that the person I thought I hated the most was paradoxically the one I needed the most. Is this what we call irony? In the past 3 years, I have studied a multitude of subjects, believing with an almost blind faith that I was better than everybody else, but here I was, completely clueless about the most basic things going on in my life. It was only after the next exam week that I finally realized how distorted my perception of the world really was. I was so sure of myself, or for that I was. Nothing else occupied my mind during those weeks of self-study and cram school. I'll beat her fair and square. Last time wasn't a fair fight. She had purposely neglected her studies for something as stupid as love. But now it would be different. Guess it's because of this obsession with my studies and my desire to beat her that I failed to notice something so crucial. Failed to notice what really mattered. I stood in front of the piece of paper which numbered off the students in our year, frantically searching like a madman for something that was definitely supposed to be there. And she wasn't. Not there, not even here. What the fuck? It's impossible. She must have changed her name or something. This can't be happening, really. But no matter how many times I scanned the damn thing, I was hit with the same conclusion over and over again. She wasn't here. She was not in the top 50. I thought that maybe, as ridiculous as it may sound, she had skipped a year somehow, even though we were in the middle of the semester, but she wasn't in the top list for the third year either. How could that be? I went directly to those in charge of those stupid lists. They had probably made a mistake, incompetent as they were. That was where I heard something preposterous, something so fucking outrageous that I had no other choice but to snap back at them, insulting the lot of them. They told me, and this is the most matter-of-factly tone there is, that she had quit school a month and a half ago. A month and a fucking half? So while I was uselessly, obsessively, and foolishly trying the best I could to surpass this girl that I thought was my equal, she was messing around, probably with boys or whatever, and didn't even think me worth the effort. She probably thought she could already have everything in life, since she was so fucking good at everything. She simply left me there struggling like a fool, probably for her own amusement. I didn't want to hear it, I didn't want to believe it, but it was the truth nonetheless. I was just too fucking blind to see it coming. Fuck. That bitch, she won even when I was sure of winning. The hopeless feeling that I was so eager to make her feel was now stuck within me. I would never be able to get rid of it. She was no longer someone I could go head to head with, since she had given up entirely. I asked about the reason of her sudden departure, and they told me it was because of a personal matter, that it probably had something to do with her family or whatever lies she had fed them. But I knew it wasn't. Fucking bullshit. It was probably her way of getting back at me, knowing that I was finally going to beat her. She just up and quit to make sure it never happened. That's when I had a revelation. What if I decided to wait for her for another year? Yeah, that was a great idea. All I needed to do was purposely fail and then... But then I remembered that I just stopped second place and I was pretty much set on passing. This was over. I had lost the one thing that kept me going. For a time, I seriously wondered what I was going to do with my life. Now that she was gone, I realized that I had nothing pushing me forward. But soon it really didn't matter all that much anymore, since I had already lived this lifestyle for the most part of my youth. Stopping was no longer an option for me. So I just continued studying the best I could, with this sense of emptiness as my sole source of motivation. High school came to an end extremely quickly. The last day of school, when I decided to glance around me, all I saw were happy faces. Everyone had someone to talk to, friends and family members, and they all looked proud of themselves for some reason. Some even had boyfriends and girlfriends by their side, holding hands and kissing, as though the world no longer had any secrets for them. I was the best of my class and one of the best in the whole school, yet I knew nothing. I felt nothing. I was already set to go to one of the top universities of this country. I could see my promising future without anyone telling me. Still, I had lost something by becoming who I was. I know that much. But since I wasn't one of them, I didn't know what it was that I had lost. Damn, bro. That's a lot. Hey, an updated bar image. Chapter 2. A group date, maybe? Maybe. 2 years. It took 2 years before I saw her again. By that time, I was well underway on my major, and I was starting to get used to the lifestyle of the university. I was living on my own in a gloomy one-room apartment for less than a year. I had zero passion and only knew how to do one thing correctly, which, of course, was studying, as if I was the target of a curse a long time ago. I really didn't know why I was so into it. Yeah, a lot of doors would probably open up to me in the future, but what if I didn't want to enter any of them? I had no motivation to climb up the ladder, and I certainly couldn't have known what to do with all the money being thrown at me. But I guess that even this type of attitude can attract some people. It was as if they knew that talkative would inevitably boost their self-esteem. That was how I made my first friend, since, well, have I ever had a friend before? At least self-aware. Not that I saw him as a friend in the first place. He was in most of my classes during high school, and took that as an opportunity to start socializing with me during our courses together. I went with the flow, finding my own amusement in his somewhat carefree demeanor. That's when one day, out of nowhere, he decided to invite me to this. I don't remember how to pronounce it. I can't call it a date. So a group date, maybe? Fuck it. Anyway, it was this thing where a group of men and women of the same age and logically in equal numbers meet each other for almost the first time in an attempt to find love. It was obviously a cheap excuse to try to find somebody to empty your load into, but whatever. Wow, harsh. At the point I was at, it didn't matter all that much. Trying to fuck someone who was, as most men my age, well, any age really, one of my priorities, even though pretty much inaccessible. I didn't go out of my way to try and have sex. That's probably the reason why I had no sex life. So I accepted. He was kinda odd though, he said to me. "You won't regret it, Tim. I even made a surprise waiting for you." Then laughed like an imbecile. He was an imbecile. It was only when I entered the bar where we were meeting that I understood the full meaning of his words. Here she is. Well, no, not yet. There were 7 people at the table already, waiting for me, which means we were a party of 8, 4 boys and 4 girls. 2 of those girls were completely unattractive, fat, or with a big chin and weird hairstyle. The other one was already almost in bed with the big mouth guy, so those 3 were unfuckable. That was my first thought upon entering the bar. My second thought wasn't dissimilar to the previous one, but it was still very surprising indeed. It was her. She was there drinking a beer and casually talking with another dude, a sports-like type. Another one who's unfuckable, but of course, not for the same reasons. I should get out of here. This is so pitiful, it's not even funny. That's when Mike, my friend, noticed my arrival and forcefully introduced me to the group. "Oh, this is the guy I was talking about. Hey, Tim, come on, don't be shy. We were waiting for you." Yeah, I almost clicked my tongue out loud, but quickly decided otherwise. Maybe the big chin one could be fuckable after a couple of beers in the dark. What an asshole. I sat next to my friend. Try not to look over the right-hand side of the table too much because the symmetry irritated me somehow. He said my name out loud before introducing everybody else from left to right. I don't remember any of their names, and seriously, I didn't want to use even the most useless part of my brain to do so. All the same, I still greeted everyone politely until it came to that name, that is. "And could I introduce you to Cassandra? But I guess I don't have to, right?" I glare at him, not hiding my displeasure in the slightest. He's clearly excited to see my reaction, as though my meeting her again will make me happy of all things, as if it's a gift or something. How the fuck does he know that I have history with her anyway? I said, yeah, all the while scratching my cheek a bit flustered. Similarly, she didn't look my way all that much and said, "Hi," in a voice that could easily have been misconstrued as a whisper. I was grateful for that, even though I had harbored hatred for her for the greatest part of my life, and probably still do. The fact that she understood my reluctance to face her was what saved the little composure I had left. So even though she was right there on the other side of the table, I was still able to enjoy myself by drinking and chatting with those around me. Her presence didn't disturb me in the slightest either, I swear. It's just that, in the heat of the moment, I was kinda off guard, that's all. After all, it was not like I understood the complexity of my feelings for her anymore. I had hated her for so long that by the end of high school, I had completely dehumanized her in my mind. Added to that, the fact that she had completely disappeared from my life at one point led me to assume that she was dead. So it was only natural that I could be baffled by a non-human, presumed dead person looking so lively and cheerful. God damn. The first thing you thought about, man, she's probably dead. What the fuck? Yeah, that's a good reason. She was sexy, no longer just cute or beautiful, but sexy. She had a blue shirt which accentuated her overly seductive curves, while a black shirt that I couldn't see very well because of the table, and her hair was loose and ended just a bit under her chest. I tried as best as I could not to look away, but it was hard when surrounded by ugly girls. You're too honest, bro. Still, I did what I must, and tried to hook up with the chin girl in front of me. After an hour and a half, I was on my fourth beer, and the first newly formed couple had decided to finish the night on their own. This made things a bit complicated for me. Now the only ones left were me, the fat girl, my friend, the big chin, and the sports dude, and Cass, whatever the other girl I once knew. So obviously it became harder and harder not to interact with her. That's when the phone of the girl in front of me, Chin, started vibrating. She became kind of hysterical by the text. I think it was a text that she received on her phone. She said a couple of words to the fat girl seated next to her and took off. The fat girl looked at me a bit awkwardly and said, "Sorry, her ex just texted her so." As if her reaction was the most understandable thing in the world. So that ugly chick just dumped me for a guy that had probably flushed her a while ago. I was depressed, but not about the departure per se, obviously. At least the alcohol had begun to do its work. That's when the night started taking a turn for the worse. My friend, who was seated on my left in front of the fat chick, was now seated on my right. The sports dude who had been chatting with that girl before was now enjoying his time with the fat girl on my left. It was then I realized that my friend, without as much as a warning, had started a group conversation with her and me. "So, how long have you two known each other?" I was staring blankly at the table, or maybe at the beer in my hand, trying as best as I could not to look interested. I think she answered it with something and then giggled, but I don't remember it all too well. She seemed to be drinking quite heavily too. "That long? Man, you must be glad to have a chance to see each other like this after so long. Maybe it's fate, who knows?" It was irritating me. It was so obvious that he was the one behind it all. Perhaps they had planned this together in order to humiliate me or something. That's when I uttered something that I probably shouldn't have. I still don't know why I thought this was a great idea. "Tell me." I glared at him with perceivable defiance. "You really like the word perceivable a lot, don't you? How did you know that she and I knew each other anyway?" I analyzed his every change in expression. I probably thought he would be flustered by my sudden inquiry, that he would start stuttering, unable to explain himself coherently, but to the contrary, he was surprised that I didn't know the reason behind it. Come on, man. Everyone in high school probably knew about it. Don't you remember that nasty girl and her group of friends who started all those awful rumors about Cass the moment she quit school? Fuck, now I remember. But unfortunately I have to end it here because I have to prepare for work now. So this is Her Lie I Try to Believe, Extended Edition. If you want to try the game for yourselves, the link in the description. That is all for today. Stay safe and take care of yourselves. Oh boy, I'm excited to see where... Yeah, there are multiple endings now. Unlike the original game, original visual novel that only had one ending, which was depressing as fucking tragic. This one, I'm hoping there's a happy ending or whatever. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this is going. This is pretty great.